want to make a Shopify tutorial on Remix. We want more Shopify app tutorial. Where are your Shopify app lessons?
Where's Mark? Shopify app.
I want to make apps for Shop.
You guys ask for it, so I will deliver. But first, it is a fact that Shopify App Development is different than before, and it will never ever be the same. Do you guys remember back in 2021 when Shopify had this build a Shopify app with Node and React, where you have to manually set up your app, create your project folder, literally you have to install the project libraries, and create the project pages. Those were the tough times. But now, with just a single command, you can already create your first Shopify app with everything set up for you. I'm talking about database or sessions, utility functions, routes, and many more. All of this thanks to Shopify CLI. Now in today's video, I'll show you how to create your very first Shopify Remix app, and I'll give you an overview on what you'll be working on today. But before you start building your Shopify Remix app, you need to know the required tools. First, you need to make sure that you have NPM installed to your computer. Now, what is NPM? NPM is a package manager that will allow you to install packages or modules like the one from Shopify. And second, you need to create a partners account or a developer account and create a development store. A Shopify partners account is crucial because that's where all your projects are going to be created. Projects like apps and themes. In fact, with Shopify partner account, you can also make money by not only selling apps and themes, but also referring someone to join Shopify. Okay, so once you have these two, you can finally start building a Shopify app. Now let's go back to the computer and start building. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is to install Shopify CLI. Now before we continue, make sure that you have VS Code opened. You have to open your partner's account as well using your favorite browser. Once you have this ready, we can now proceed and install Shopify CLI. Okay, so with that being said, I know that in the previous video, I'm referring to the video, what is Shopify API and how to create an app video. I mentioned that you no longer need to install Shopify CLI. However, I'm going to correct myself because now you no longer need to install Shopify CLI to create a new Shopify app. Boy, times have changed once again. Now you do need to install Shopify CLI. This is one of the reasons why I cannot make a course about Shopify app development because it keeps changing and it's very difficult to keep up. But yes, we do need to install Shopify CLI. So first things first, we need to have the following requirements. We need to have Node.js and Git installed. So if you don't have these two, you can go to nodejs.org and git-scm.com. Okay? Make sure that the version is 18.20 plus, 20.10 or higher. For the Git, make sure that you have 2.28, okay, or higher. Once you have these two, we can finally run the following command, npm install global at Shopify/CLI at latest. Okay, you can use other package managers such as Yarn, PNPM, or Homebrew. It's all up to you. You can use that. But since I'm on my Windows computer, I'll be using NPM and that's it. So let's open the terminal, create a new terminal. And then first is, let me check if I have the right version for Node. So I have 20.10.0. It's good. Next is Git. So git-v. I have Git version 2.43, so it's higher than this version. So now we can run npm install -g and install a package at Shopify CLI at latest. So let's type npm install -g at Shopify/CLI at latest. Press enter and that should start installing Shopify CLI. Now once that's done, we can finally begin building our Shopify app project. But first, let's create a new folder where we can create those projects. So here, I'll type mkdir to create a new directory or folder, and we'll call this folder Shopify apps. But I believe I already have this folder, so I might have an error that will say this folder already exists. So if I press enter, notice that I already have that folder. So what I can do next is to just change our current directory to Shopify apps folder. Okay, there we go. Now here, we can finally run the command Shopify version to check the current version of our Shopify CLI. There you go. I'm using 3.62 now. Yours might be different, especially if you're watching this in the future. So the next thing we're going to do is to create the project. To create a new project, all you need to do is to run the command Shopify app and then init.
By running this command, it will start asking you the following question, your project name. So let's call this project WeeklyHow remix app. So press enter. And the next question I'll ask you is whether you use remix or start by adding your first extension. Now, what is the difference between these two? Start with remix will basically, of course, create the remix app, a Shopify app that is built with remix. The start by adding your first extension is meant for building extension-only apps, meaning the app here won't have any embedded app pages. That's why if you create a new Shopify app and select this, you won't have anything but the extensions folder. So since we want to create an app that we can interact with, we'll select the remix app. So let's just use this, start with remix. Next is which language do you want to use? It's either JavaScript or TypeScript. So let's use TypeScript. And that's it. That should start building the Shopify app.
Okay, now this is going to take some time, so while we're waiting, why not subscribe to the channel and like this video while you're at it? Huh? Okay, now let's go back.
So once the Shopify CLI is done creating the Shopify app, you can simply open the project folder and you should get the following folders and files. So let's take a look at these folders and files. The first one is the app folder or directory. This contains the main entry point of your Shopify app, also the root route of your remix app. You also have here the Shopify.server.ts. It contains all of the tools and variables that you can use when developing a Shopify app. First is the API version. You will see here that it's using the latest version. You also have here the authenticate and authenticated for making API authenticated request or unauthenticated request. You also have here the login to authenticate the merchant. You also have here the register webhooks to create a webhook. Okay? So that is one of the files that you can work with when developing a Shopify app. You also have here the routes folder where you can create the pages for your embedded apps. Okay? Next one is the extensions folder. Any app extensions that you created in your app, you'll find it here. They'll also have their own configurations, TOML files. We're going to create an example app extension later. Next one is the Prisma. This is where you'll find your schema, your database schema, also the migrations. Next is the most important file here, and that is going to be the Shopify app.toml. This is a file that contains the metadata and the configuration of your project. So yes, this is the most important file of your Shopify app project. If you don't have this file, your app is not going to work. So you'll find here the client ID or API key, the name of your app, the handle, the app URL, and if it's an embedded app or not. Here's also where you will add your access scopes. So if you want to create, for example, script tags, if you want to access customer data, this is where you'll add those access scopes. There's also a URL here that you can use to find all of those access scopes later. Okay? So that's it. Those are the files that you're gonna be working with. There's another file here called shopify.web.toml file. It's another configuration file where you can define the properties of your Shopify embedded app. So there are properties here such as the name, the roles, webhooks, path. This also works with Shopify CLI. So say for example, if you run the command Shopify app dev, it's going to execute this command right here. So that is the shopify.web.toml. Now the next thing that we're going to do is to create a Shopify app extension. Let's do that. Creating a Shopify app extension is very, very easy. All you need to do is to run a single command inside of your Shopify app project, and that is the Shopify app generate extension. So here in the terminal, make sure that you are inside of your project folder. We're going to run the said command, Shopify space app space generate space extension. By running this command, Shopify CLI will ask you what kind of Shopify app extension are you trying to build? Are you trying to build for the admin? Are you trying to build for the analytics, for the automations, for the customer accounts, for the discounts and checkout, or if you're building for online store and point of sale? Just to make this simple, we're going to create a Shopify app extension for our online store where we can display a theme app, okay? So here, we're going to select theme app extension. You can also search it here in the search bar. You can type theme app and you will see this, okay? Press enter, and the next stop is going to ask you for the name. We'll call this app extension WeeklyHow app extension. You can call this whatever you want, obviously. And there you go, Shopify CLI successfully created your Shopify app extension. Now you can proceed here in the extensions folder and you will find here the WeeklyHow app extensions or the app extension that you created, okay? So inside of this, you will find the following: assets, blocks, locales, and snippets. It's kind of similar to the structure of a Shopify theme. If you know, a Shopify theme can have assets, locales, and snippets. The only difference is here we do have the blocks directory. So the blocks folder is where you'll be building your liquid files that you want to display in the online store, that you want the merchant to use in the theme editor. I'll show you that later on in this video. So now we're done creating our Shopify app. Now let's try and install this to our development store. We can do that by running the command Shopify space app space dev. By running this command, Shopify CLI will ask you where do you want this Shopify app to be installed, or where do you want to see your Shopify app. So let's try and select this WeeklyHow theme blocks. Obviously yours is going to be different, okay? So I'll just select this one. And the next stop is going to ask you to automatically update your app's URL. It's always the best to automatically update it, especially if you're developing locally. Once you press enter, make sure that you do not press anything yet because the app is trying to install or push the theme app extensions or your files, okay? So you will see that here in the Shopify CLI, what it's doing. So notice that it's pushing the theme, there's a percentage, so just give it a moment, okay? Once you see everything is done, you can now press P, or you can click this preview URL. We can just press P to preview it in your browser. And now here we can finally install our Shopify app to our development store. Click install. And congratulations, you have successfully created and installed your Shopify app to your development store. Now the last thing that we're going to do is to see the Shopify app extension that we generated earlier. So we can do that by opening the online store right over here. And then we're going to customize our Shopify theme. So click customize. And now let's open the products page. Here, products, and select the default template product. Now here under the template, inside of the product information, we can click the add block button and you will see here the apps. Notice that there are two blocks here. If you click that, you will see here the block from WeeklyHow Remix app. So if you click that, you will get the following ratings.
And there you have it, folks. You have finally created your first Shopify Remix app. Now, if you want more videos like this, let us know in the comments below. And also don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Now, thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, I'll see you next time. Bye.